Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Daniel, right?
Daniel, okay.
Hi.
Hi, Daniel. Where are you coming? Where are you coming from?
I'm from Russia, from St. Petersburg.
From St. Petersburg, you're joining us. Great.
Mhm.
Good to have you. And Charles, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Where are you coming from?
Minnesota.
All right. And
Also Jan joined us.
What's that?
Somebody has echoing.
I think it's you.
Me.
Yeah.
Let's see, I lost my headphones for a minute there.
Hey, Jaden.
No?
Hello, Jaden.
Hi. Hi.
Hi,
I'm
where
Jaden.
are you joining us from?
I'm also in Minnesota, United States. Yeah.
Great. And Ian?
Jan, I think.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
here.
where are you joining us from?
From Moscow right now, from the south of Moscow.
South of Moscow. All right. Well, that's cool. I don't know. You're recording this, right?
Yeah.
Dimitri.
I am.
So I don't know if we should wait or if we should,
Oh, we could just start, I think, and if more people will join, they will just
Yeah, they
come
can
in.
catch you. Well, so we've got a little different agenda for today. By the way, I'm Sam Devine. I joined one of the early webinars that Dimitri put on, and then I've been fighting my own illnesses here for the last few weeks or month or whatever with COVID, and so I've missed a little bit, but I'm back. And so yeah, I'm Sam Devine. I'm here in Minneapolis, and my organization is Earth Ed Foundation, and my interest is in primarily in wilderness canoe travel and whatnot. So trees are important to me, and I think preserving our natural surroundings is important. And then through that, I met Dimitri, and this is the Earth Ed Collective. And Dimitri is an expert in GIS or satellite mapping. And so this program is really to introduce all of you to the world of satellite mapping and what it can do. And so Dimitri can say hello to the American.
So I'm Dmitry Aksionov. I'm from small Russian-based NGO called Transparent World, and we are working with satellite observations for various environmental and educational projects. And I'm also one of a co-leader of this the Earth Educational Collective, our project. And so I also already facilitated gave a few lectures previously, which are recorded. And I hope we will have some more meetings and lectures.
Great.
I'm also in Moscow right now, by the way.
All right, so I just texted or put into the group chat kind of the agenda for today's meeting. You'll have to excuse me because I'm not great yet with the text side of these meetings, but so today what we really want to do is for those of you who are comfortable with turning on your cameras and speaking, I'd like to let all of you get to meet each other a little bit and to introduce yourselves and to talk a little bit about sort of some of the environmental concerns that you have. I think everyone's aware of obviously of global warming and the issues that we face. And what we're looking to do is show you how one of the most impressive tools that we have to date is our satellite imagery that we've had. Dimitri, when did satellites first start orbiting the planet and taking pictures and sending them back? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, sorry, I just muted because I was typing. So I think that could you repeat?
Yeah, just roughly what time period were the first satellite images being sent back to the Earth from space?
Actually, it was even already in 60s, as early in 60s. And first satellites for Earth observation used to be, of course, spy satellites. And the United States was the first one who launched such a satellite, and the Soviet Union was following very soon, And by the way, the American spy satellite images are currently available. Some of them are declassified currently, and you could buy them. And so,
some of them from the 60s.
Yeah, from 60s, really.
Yeah.
But more or less regular satellite observations of non-military purposes is currently available from mid-70s, basically.
Mid-70s.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the first three webinars that Dimitri has done, which you newcomers are welcome to go and watch those. They're an hour long, so take time, digest it in chunks if you need to. But Dimitri gives you a little introduction on that. But since the 70s, we've had commercial satellites taking pictures of the planet, and what this does for us is it gives us a tool where you can observe changes over time, of course, right? So what's happened since the 70s that's changed our planet, and what do we know now that we didn't know back then? That's what these satellites help us with. So let's do.
And I think I have a good diagram. I could just show. This is from NASA side, I think, and this is American Landsat satellite series over timeline. So it started in early 70s, and it is still operational right now, till nowadays. So it is the non-military satellites which are currently available for free, even non-commercial nowadays.
And the more modern satellites, Dima, I know that Landsat just sent up recently, put online their newest, right?
Yeah, the newest Landsat 9 was launched last October this year.
Yeah, and it's not strictly about the imaging capabilities, is it? It's also about the data that they can clean. So different types of things other than just a camera image, correct?
Yeah, and I recommend we have a kind of a brief introductory video on our website. We will share the link later on, I think.
Great.
About why satellite images are so important, especially for monitoring of the environment.
Great. So I know that I don't know anything really about Moscow or where you kids are coming from in Russia. You probably know as little about Minneapolis as I know about Moscow. Minneapolis is in the middle of our country. I'm looking outside my window today, and we've got about 4 or 5 inches of snow last night. And since we're American, we say inches, which I hope you know what that means, but probably not, because we haven't adopted the metric system, which we should. But anyway, so we've got a little layer of fresh snow on the ground. And I know that Charles is in rural Minnesota, but Ishmael and Jaden and Analia and I, we're all here in Minneapolis. And so I want to open this up. I want you to take a minute to think about this, but I'd like you to introduce yourselves. So if you're willing to turn on your camera, that's fine. If you don't want to this morning, that's okay too. I want you to introduce yourselves, and I want you to think about, it's a little bit abstract to consider looking at satellite imagery of remote Russia or far northern Canada or something and thinking about the wildfires. And I want you to think about and maybe talk about the ways that satellite imagery might be able to be used to look at like the urban tree canopy in North Minneapolis. Or I don't know if any of you are around or remember the tornado that happened in 2011 that came through town. And we can see the effects of things like very local stuff like emerald ash borer or that tornado. And I want you to think about what it means for us to be able to observe our immediate area and anywhere else on the planet through satellite images, and maybe just suggest or talk about what you think some of the most important environmental issues are that you're concerned with, and how satellite imagery might be able to validate those concerns or to be used to study that. So if we want to start with, I'm just going to go on my screen. You're kind of in a pattern here, and I'm going to start right up at the top with Ian.
Oh, yep, fine. Well, my name is Jan, and I come from a small town on the north of Russia. You might don't know its name, and that's absolutely all right. I do not. It's Kostroma. But right now I'm in an educational center in the south of Moscow. It's provided by the Russian government. So I'm I'm interested in earth sciences, and I've taken part in few international Olympiads, international competitions in earth sciences, the European one and the Baltic International Geographic Olympiad. So I'm not really a civil activist or an eco-activist. I'm more here to study the processes, the patterns, which we could study from those satellite images, because I'm used to analyze them a lot, and to provide some knowledge that we could take from these images, to understand how landscape of our planet works, basically.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Ian. That's well, this is an introductory course, and I hope you are able to start down a path of better understanding of GIS. I know I have very little, and this has been a lot of fun for me to learn some stuff. So thanks a lot for coming. Jaden, you want to take a turn?
Hi, I look rough, really bad. I actually have COVID also. Sorry.
That's all right.
So,
no problem.
So my name is Jaden Ellington Vassar. I'm 17. I'm currently a senior in high school. I don't know. I work a lot with more like environmental studies, basically on how environment like correlates with people of color, especially in the United States with racism and things like that. I feel like this mapping is really going to help us see what we can't see on the ground. or like in more dangerous situations where we can't be there just because like, earth stuff. I don't know.
No, I love it.
Earth,
That's
Earth has crazy things happen all the time. So I think satellites, like seeing it from a distance is like really beneficial with like you could see like the temperature changes or even like the landscape about like what parts are like have more mountains and how that affects the surrounding area. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more questions. I don't. Yeah.
No, that's great, Jaden. I know that, I don't know the political climate of Russia, right? But I know that here in America, yeah, here in America, racial issues are first and foremost right now. They're one of the things that we're making some real attempts to sort of correct our bad past, I would say, to heal some wounds that have been around for a very long time. And I know that if you start to look at the way, so satellite imagery is just a tool that we use to measure some of these things, right? But if you look at, the urban tree canopy, the degraded tree canopy definitely impacts people of color more than it does more affluent neighborhoods. So, and if you look at the effects of global warming or tree loss or agricultural uses, you can use the satellites to do that, and you can see the way that maybe our native indigenous lands are impacted. And I know that one of my friends, Brad Harrington, he's from the Mille Lacs Band, and he wants to use satellite imagery to study the ongoing effects of global warming on wild rice, because wild rice is so important to their community.
It is.
So yeah, so these things, I know that that the purpose, your desire to use these images, it's just a tool. You might use it in the forestry industry, just to monitor your forests. You might use it in the environmental world to study the effects of different things. So the tool is one thing, the impact that you have, how you use that tool and the impact you have with it is an entirely different thing. So really glad you came, Jaden, and I'm glad you're
Thank
getting
you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're getting into this.
Right.
Great.
All right. Okay. Bye. I'm
Great.
here.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good to meet you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Analia, I know you're not going to turn your camera on, but you can just say hello.
Hey y'all. So I am Analia. I am 26 and I run Youth Empower. So that is the program that Ismail, Jaden, Michaela are in, as well as a few others. So we learn about community organizing through the lens of environmental justice. And like Sam was saying, we have a very particular interaction here with environment. A lot of us people of color, because of historical, racial mess, really. Sorry, my dogs are walking around with long nails. So, a lot of people of color here, hey, sorry, I have two really big dogs that are really hyper right now. So a lot of people of color, because of racial issues, have not been able to interact with environment or be a part of the conversation around environment. And so we are kind of diving into environmental justice, which overlaps environmental awareness and conservation, as well as social justice, because we have no other option than to combine the two here because of our history and because of the way the US is set up. So, being able to be in these sorts of spaces where we can learn about things that, like, in reality, you wouldn't really learn unless you went to college for it, I'd say, or you're in the workforce for these sorts of conversations. So it is really important for young people to be learning about more of these technical trades as well, especially when in the conversation around environment. We have a big issue with water, and I am very certain that water is going to be our next war in the world. So I think I would really like to look at, the tree canopy. In North Minneapolis here, it's mostly Black and brown people and people that are not wealthy. And so we have literally less tree canopy, making it hotter than other suburbs. So looking at, tree canopy degradation and then water as well, I think would be really awesome to look into and would help kind of deepen our studies.
Great. Thanks, Analia. Yeah, I think that's a common theme. I read an article about, I think it was Albuquerque, New Mexico, and their tree canopy and how it very much favors the more affluent, wealthy parts of town and disparages the typically more brown and people of color part of town. So it's all over the place. But another thing that you kind of touched on there that I think is truly important is that I do think that people of color are very disproportionately underrepresented in the world of satellite imagery or this kind of technology. So, and I think a lot of that's due to just access issues in a lot of ways. I mean, if you're not exposed to something, you don't know about it, you're not going to take an interest in it, and there you go. You never learn then. So this is great that you brought these students in, and we're happy to have you, and very fortunate that you came with us. So let's move on to Daniil.
Hello. I'm from Russia, from a big city, St. Petersburg. I'm 19 years old, and now I'm in the 7th grade. My father is teaching about satellite images in the at school of higher educational school, and he wanted me to learn about satellite images too. And now I'm interested in this topic. And the second plus is that I can talk with American people too and know English better.
Great.
I should just notify when the Russian tell high school, sometimes it could mean university, not the high school in America. It is still a school. That the universities and colleges in Russia quite often are formally called high school education, but it means universities.
Yes,
I believe, right?
Yeah, that's it doesn't always correlate. The numbers don't mean the same thing. Seventh grade here is not the same as 7th grade there, right? So
pretty close. Just usually the system of university system is called like a high school in Russia somehow, or high education. It's often referred as a high education.
Yeah, and we
system. Yeah.
Daniil, did you say you're 15?
No, I'm 13 years old.
13, sorry. Okay.
13.
So yeah, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, I heard the wrong number, so it was right. Sorry about that. Yeah, and we call higher education college. We call higher education as well here too. But I see you've got cars represented there behind you. My yeah, my children. That was my firstborn son. That was his absolute favorite movie for a long time. So. Good to see cars in the background. Do you have any special? I'm getting the idea that environmental issues maybe aren't at first and foremost on the minds of Russians these days. Is that kind of fair, or what do you think?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. So I know that a lot of the American kids, they want to learn about satellite imagery because they have concern for the environment. Do you think that's true for Russian kids as well?
I think it's true because it's always interesting to learn about satellite images in different topics.
Sure. And do you have you had any other opportunities to work with American kids from Russia? From, have you had any opportunity like that before, or is this the first time?
No, just to learn about satellite images and to practice my English.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's another big part of this program is that historically it has been difficult for Russians to imagine working with Americans because we've been in this battle forever, but we're not actually in a battle with each other, are we? We are able now, because of technology, to cooperate, to look at the issues that we all face together. So putting all of you together right now at these ages gives you an opportunity for a lifetime of working in collaborative groups all around the world. So thanks a lot, Daniel. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Ismail.
Hi, my name is Ismail and I'm from Minneapolis. And usually with like youth and power, we do like a lot of like community work, like within like our like city. But I feel like with satellite imagery, we can expand that to do like preventative action. Like we can kind of map like when something is going to come in the future. And then we can also use like previous satellite images to like show like with proof that there is like global warming and climate change, because that can just reduce like, what I'm saying, like sometimes people like don't believe it. And I feel like if you like show them like real data, real statistics and everything, they'll be more like likely to participate. So that's why I'm excited about satellite imagery.
Great. Well, welcome, Ismail. I know that's one thing that Dima. So Dimitri, we call him Dima for short, just to make sure that you guys know that. But Dima, talked about the validation part of this. It's very difficult to get people to believe something unless you can show it to them. That's the proof that you need, right? And so if you're going to say, oh, changes are coming and we're going to, I think that things are going to be this way, you have to be able to prove it. And that's science. And so satellites are at the intersection of, multiple different kinds of science. It's not just climate science. It's not just space science. It's kind of a mix of all of these things. And whether it doesn't even have to be environmental issues. It can be, everything's kind of an environmental issue, but it can be urban sprawl. It can be croplands. It can be figuring out, when it's best to water your crops or when the grapes are ready in a vineyard. Satellite imagery can be a lot of different things. So
satellite image, I could just maybe show a few pictures, but satellite images are not nowadays just a tool. By the way, it is just movie list for playlist for previous records of previous lectures we gave. I will send it out also. Just a few pictures which we could look from satellites. There's changes. I just collected here a few different changes, like comparing the satellite images. Of course, it is a false color, not true colors. You see here, comparing like the year 2000 and 2020. This is just, you see the water reservoir in Siberia. Or, for example, we could see this the city of Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, in Africa, in Eastern Africa. So you could see also the big changes of built up urban area. So this is a kind of urbanization which we could see with our own eyes. Or, for example, clearing Amazonian forest this is in central Brazil. You also could watch like the changes are coming from the year 2000 to 2020. What else? Of course, this long story, as I told, we have already like 3-4 decades of records of satellite images. This is like a, like a black box in the airplane, recording everything is going on the surface of our Earth. This is one from my previous presentation, I believe, which is from Middle Asia, RLC, and the changes from since middle 80s to nowadays. It is like, the RLC, the second big lake of the world previously is actually virtually disappeared right now. Where only some small parts of them survived, and only probably the northern part has any chances to survive in the future. But also in the satellite images, we could watch more or less the situation like day to day, like in an aerial time. Usually it is just NASA World View portal, giving us access to aerial time imagery. This is example from Eastern Siberia, the forest fires of last August this year. These red dots are these so-called hotspots or thermal anomalies, some burning areas actually, and you could see the smokes are going from that area, and actually you could see how the situation is being changed day by day. And same situation for Northern California, also this year, virtually the same August date. You also could see how the situation was different. So here also very visible this much of smoke is going from this burning hotspots area. So this is what we are going to focus a little bit, and I already shared in this chat the link to the 3 lectures already recorded, 3-hour webinars recorded previously. I hope that despite my horrible Russian accent, it will be also understandable enough also for native English speakers, not only for my Russian colleagues, co-citizens. And we will definitely share also the presentations of these pictures. You could find it in the WhatsApp chat. And this is, by the way, maybe as we will finish with the presentation, I think we could also important point would be to discuss what is the best way to communicate, because I understood that emails are using more or less everyone, but quite often the emails could be lost because of spam filters.
Yeah, American kids aren't good at responding to emails, Dima. That's one of the problems. But we also don't use WhatsApp very commonly. So
yeah, we also have a group, organized a group on WhatsApp. I will also share the link to it. But WhatsApp is also sometimes not quite often used, I understand.
Right. So we will have to figure out a way that we can keep the communication more focused, I would say, something that is more universal. We haven't quite figured that part out. But all right, we'll go through the last few people and get your thoughts here. Charles, you want to jump in?
Hi. My camera isn't working right now, but yeah.
No problem. Just give us a little introduction about yourself.
Yeah. I'm Charles from rural Minnesota. Sam is my uncle, and he brought me into this, and I don't know, I just thought this would be kind of interesting to learn about and participate in.
Great. And I know where Charles is at, and I can tell you that, I think you would agree with this, Charles, but like the satellite imagery, if you were to use it to study anything in your area, it would probably be looking at forest fires or at agricultural purposes up there, I would say. And then occasionally maybe Lake Superior, our giant lake that we have here in Minnesota. So
Yeah.
does that sound right? All right. Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Charles.
No problem.
I'm gonna let Dima introduce this name on the bottom that I cannot possibly hope to pronounce correctly.
Actually, the Svistonova is the last name, and we do not see the first name here. But I believe I know who is it. But you could just introduce yourself, please.
Oh, my name is Daria.
Daria, yes.
Yes. I live in Russia, Kaliningrad, and I'm really interested in science. I love to study geography and astronomy, and I think it will be great to hear and speak with them. Okay, to improve my language, English,
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great. So you would like to learn, you would like to maybe have more conversations where you can practice your English too?
Yes.
Okay.
I understood Daria is from the most western city of Russia, Kaliningrad.
Yes, I'm from Kaliningrad.
Right? Yes, well.
That's near the border with what country is next? Kaliningrad.
It is former Eastern Germany. Actually, yeah. Before the war, it was a part of Germany. The Königsberg is the historical name of this city.
I see.
It is just between. It is now a Russian exclave between Lithuania and Germany and Poland.
And how old are you, Daria?
I'm 13.
13? And you have a lot of interest in science, huh?
Yes.
Yes, and astronomy. Great. And do you have concerns about the environment, or is this more about learning a scientific endeavor?
I want to learn more about Earth, and I really interested in a situation like now a lot of people said like we have global warming, and I really interested in it.
You're really interested in it. Great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And now let's go on to Michaela.
Hi, I'm 6. I'm just gonna keep my camera off, but
no problem.
I'm 18 from North Minneapolis, and I'm in Youth in Power with Analia. And the one thing like I didn't know that we could, I guess, see it was how we can like see tree canopy, and like that's one thing I'm really passionate about because I know we're trying to plant like 10,000 trees in North Minneapolis this summer, so it'd be really cool to like track where we should put them and like eventually like how they're growing, and just to improve the air quality in North Minneapolis and just lower our temperatures. But I think this would be really cool to know how to use this and have like this as an asset.
Great.
How hot it could be in the North Minneapolis in the summertime?
I'd say, I mean, it gets hot here in Minnesota. Like we are like one of the coldest spots in the US, but with like half of the year of winter. But in the summer it gets to like 90s, upper 90s degrees Fahrenheit. And then I don't know the exact like number, but I'm pretty sure that like it'll be anywhere from like 2 to 5 degrees hotter in North Minneapolis than like the suburbs.
Yep. That sounds right. So Minnesota, I think that our climate shares some similar characteristics to parts of Siberia, I would say.
I would say for more with Western Russia rather than in this Siberia. As far as I remember, the climate of Minnesota is close to Moscow, more or less. Moscow climate, for example, but Siberia is usually much more continental and much harsher.
I have the Siberia and Antarctica on my weather app just to compare, because sometimes it gets cold and I wonder if we're the coldest spot on Earth, but it's a good reminder that Siberia is colder.
Oh yeah, yes.
Siberia is colder in the winter, but I believe in the summer it could be even hotter there. Unfortunately, nobody from Siberia joined us today, but there are some participants previously attended our previous workshops. I believe it is just because time difference. It is now deep late evening or sometimes even deep night in Siberia already now.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think the similarity is that Minnesota is, as far as America is concerned, is one of the most extreme temperature differentials. In the winter, it is one of the coldest spots, and in the summer, it can be one of the hotter spots. Now, it can be hotter and drier in the desert, but sometimes we are right up at the top of the heat spectrum here too, because we're not temperate. We're not near to any of the oceans, so our temperatures are extreme, kind of like that.
In that sense, you're close to Siberia, right?
Right. That part of it. Yep. So, well, thanks, Michaela, and yeah, I hope we can learn, more about our tree canopy. I know that I'm kind of intrigued with here I can share my screen for a moment. Are you guys able to see this?
No.
Not yet.
Weird. Oh, I might not have the. Oh yeah, I'm not enabled to share. But anyway, I will send a link to a satellite. I guess these aren't their images, but do you know Restore, Dima?
Which one?
It's out of Crowther Labs, but it's RESTOR, Restore.
Not really.
So I think it's just a secondary market.
Restore. Okay.
Yep.
Problem.
And it's just pretty interesting.
You mean like a trading network?
Yeah, it's you can use it. You can use their satellite mapping tool. Well, here, why don't you just let me share? Why don't you? Let's meet the last person first, and then I'll share my screen for just a moment, and we can wrap this up.
Sure.
So, who is our last person there?
Mikhail, I think.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mikhail. I'm in the 11th grade, and I'm a member of school group of young astronauts. I'm 16 years old, and as for me, I have already decided where I want to work. I'm going to become an engineer, so I'm taking part in this competition. I became a winner in many competitions in the area of astronomy or physics, and visited Baikonur. It seems to me that participation in this competition will help me to learn my future profession.
I'm a bit jealous. I have never visited Baikonur yet.
Is that a part of your country you haven't seen?
Not anymore. You know,
Yeah.
this is a Kazakhstan. This is actually a place where first Russian rockets were launched, including Gagarin flight, the first human flight, and first satellite.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've not been to Russia. I've been over to, you know, near-ish to Russia. I've been to Germany and Azerbaijan. But, you know, Russia is kind of pretty big. It's a lot of land mass there. All right, well, why don't you, thanks for joining us, Mikhail. Appreciate you showing up. And yeah, this is a good program for someone your age to learn more about satellite mapping. So it sounds like you've got your career path and your future planned out. So hopefully we can help with that. But all right, if you want to show or allow me to share my screen, Dimitri, you're the host. So
Sure.
I need your permission.
Sure. Go on.
Okay. All right, are you able to see it?
Yeah, now we do.
Okay, so this is the restore.eco. I've just been playing around with it because I'm getting more and more interested in both satellite mapping and working toward reforestation. And so in this case, I can kind of show you exactly where Charlie probably is, because this is a farm in northern Minnesota that is owned by my brother, but he would like to, we would like to restore back some of this previously forested land that is now just a hay field. And if you look at what restore allows you to do, well, I don't know how to use restore well enough, but
Okay.
I've been in here before and played around with it, but Dima is going to teach us all how to access more of the data that is available for these types of images. So that's one of the things that we work.
Very easy. Just could you just send me the coordinates? Yeah, I see in the bottom of it, right bottom, you have this geographic coordinates, 2 figures.
Yep,
you copy it to me.
Yep, 46.451.
Yeah, exactly. This is the latitude and longitude actually.
Yep.
Just in this unusual format, we know from school that geographic coordinates are in grades, minutes, and seconds, but here they are only in decimal degrees. So
so do you want both of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 40. So 40.
Okay, no problem. I will type it down. Just keep it for a moment.
Sure.
92.815.
Correct.
This one, right?
I will stop sharing so I can see what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Stop sharing. For example, I could start sharing this. We could find, for example, this Sentinel Hub is one of the European Union space program portal. 1 second. We could find the same location by copying this geographic coordinates. Are we at the right place, more or less?
Let's see. Yep,
Moose
getting
Lake,
there.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
hardly we will see that much detail, but we could take a look, for example, how this area could look nowadays with so-called medium resolution satellites. Let us deal with Sentinel-2, for example. It is mainly cloudy. You could see the list of images found. This is, you see, this is also a lot of snow.
Yep.
Yeah, this is in true color, but you also could use some other combination of, for example, this is a false color using invisible infrared light to somehow emphasize the different types of vegetation in the area. Yeah, of course, white are mainly open space, all these hayfields and other croplands are now white, but we could also look for some earlier images, not of December, but let's say of September, for example. Maybe we could find some cloud-free imagery. Yeah, look how it looks like in the summer. And so we could just change the date and see just different satellite images. This is cloudy. Yeah, and find some. So we could, this is a way we could a little bit travel in time and study the time series of satellite images and see the changes. Here is the changes over, I don't know, weeks or days, for a few months. But we also could use satellite images to look for changes over years and even decades now, and find what used to be here previously, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and exactly. Nearly 40 years ago now, with a little bit coarser resolution, coarser picture, but this is how it works. And this is what we are basically going to learn step by step, starting from these online tools. But I hope that we will also be able to come somehow more deep to geographic information technologies and learn a little bit to get familiar with desktop GIS. GIS, it means Geographic Information System, the class of software using these digital maps and satellite images and processing it. This is what we are going to learn, and we hope very much that you will be able also to find some interesting satellite images for your project and tell us after a couple of months some interesting stories about particular places you live, or just maybe you have never been but you are interested in, or something like that.
Exactly. Well, let's let these kids get out of here, but let's sort of wrap this up with what Dima just said. That's exactly what we want to do, is get you working on a few interesting projects. We're going to come back after the Christmas break. January 8th is our next scheduled meeting. We'll send a link out to that. We're gonna, we'll only be scratching the surface of what's capable with these, but we want to get you into groups so that you can work on your English and work together to find projects that are interesting for you. And I would hope that if you're interested in this, I would hope that you would reach out to some of your friends and maybe ask them if they would like to join this project as well. So especially you Minneapolis kids, we need some more Minnesotans, but also you Russian kids, find a few friends who might want to come to these meetings, and we haven't got a lot of time left, and we're not going to take up a lot of your time. We want to make sure that you get through a couple of serious little projects that teach you specifically how to look at one area and create a narrative of what's happened to that, so that I think it was maybe Michaela was talking about how this can be used to show people the impacts that like urban tree canopy have on communities and stuff like that. That's what we'd like to take a look at. So early January, we're coming back for another meeting, and we want you to bring a friend or two if you can. And thank you all very much for showing up today.
One question I would like to ask is communication via email fine for everyone here? So
I think that's going to be our best.
Good. So we will mainly rely on email communication, but just in case, I also share it here and we'll send later on the link to WhatsApp group of a project, but I understood it could be problematic for some of you to join. But also you also could also feel free to come back with suggestions and ideas what another communication tool or network would be the best for you to communicate.
Well,
to connect. Yeah.
Let me suggest one thing. I think the big thing for the American kids is, you know, kind of what you're going to be allowed to have on your phone. I don't know. Do they use Slack in Russia yet? Is that?
It depends. I think depends on the parents mainly.
Yeah, it's becoming a big
parental policy. Depends.
Yeah, I know. I know. Well, I know I don't want my kids on, I don't want them on Discord or any of, you know, there's a lot of things I don't like, right? But I think
Discord is also very popular.
yeah. And I don't know if Michaela, Ismail, and Jaden, if you can let me know how you think it would be best to communicate so that you can you know, start texting some of your Russian partners here during the day, that would be helpful. What do you got, Ishmael?
I got WhatsApp. I have like some family out of the country, so I have it.
Okay, and Jaden and Michaela, would you be comfortable with that too?
Yes, I used to have it with my friend in Prague, but I deleted it, but I'll re-download it.
Well, look at you little international superstars. I love it. Okay. Well, let's try and make WhatsApp the platform that we used then for that instant communication. Okay,
yeah,
we all know.
Sent the link to WhatsApp in our group message, so
right.
Okay.
I'm getting more and more used to it. Dima and I've been using it for the whole year that we've been working on this. So it sounds great. If I'm glad you guys spoke up, WhatsApp it is. And I hope you can manage to make some connections with your Russian partners here, and for your Russian partners, make some connections with the American kids. And let's get a couple of projects going so that we can show people what we've learned about satellite mapping. Okay.
Okay,
we'll
and of course, we will share the records of this meeting, and also as a useful link, we will distribute over both WhatsApp and email.
Yeah, and for you American kids, if you want to watch those first 3 videos, that's great. I think that we want to get into the more fun part of this, which is the communicating, working together to do a project, you know. We didn't get into that today. We'll let you go, but on the 8th, we'll go in more into what an actual project looks like. So,
do you know what time on the 8th, or are you going to send that in an email?
I don't. Dima and I talked this morning about maybe breaking it up so there's a morning version and an afternoon version, just to make it a little easier for people to show up. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then the video links, can you email those to us?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Sure.
And we should have a couple other of my kids in here next time.
Okay.
Well, I'm counting on the 3 that already joined us to bring us some new ones too. So.
I understand the assignment, right?
Yeah, they're like, whatever, dude. That's all right. No, that's great. You had something to say, Dima?
Okay, no, I just was going to say that it could be more Russian participants which are not present here, but they are following just by watching the records and writing into WhatsApp.
Great. Maybe if we expand.
Partly the location question and time zone question.
Yeah, and maybe if we expand that WhatsApp conversation and get people working on projects, that will kind of pick that up. We'll have more people joining. So, all right, everyone, enjoy your Saturday, what's left of it over there in Russia, and all of what's left of it here in America. So,
okay, thank
you. And for those of you not feeling well and with COVID, please, feel better soon, all of you.
Take care. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. See you all
Thank you.
next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hope to see you later. Goodbye.